Let's add this too.
That's me.
Just step away from the mic.
I'm done. I guess you're not supposed to have a mic.
Or have him talk, just yell to it. Hey, Sean.
It's always Sean.
Are we starting, Julie?
Sorry.
Go, man.
Or Julie. You want me to sound like Harrison?
All right,
Gotta leave it right to you to sign.
I'm going to call the meeting to order. We have a couple of additions to the agenda. First, in the consent agenda under resignations, Matt DeWerf for head high school cross country and middle school head track coach. And then we're going to move new business A to unfinished business A-1. Parents as teachers, blue ribbon certificate. Okay. So with that said, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Casey and Curtis. Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, now I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Casey and Ryan Schreiber. Moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, recognitions.
Yeah, we just finished up the fall sports season, and we had a banner year. We usually have good years. This year's was exceptional, I believe. Football team went 8-0 through the regular season. Most people say "oh." You notice that when they say 0, they mean to say, but they say "oh." O's a letter. Don't join my coalition. 8-0. Lost the second round of the playoffs, but an exceptional year. Nicely done for the football squad. Cross country, the boys cross country team got 4th at state. Well done. Brody Denniston was champion again, so that's not just passing out cherries. Good job. And Jeb Stoppel got 19th. So boys cross country did a nice job. And we had Miss Artery's daughter ran for the girls. On the volleyball side, second at sub-state and had the best record in history, in the history of volleyball for the Longhorns. So an exceptional fall season in the sports world. Mr. Jones?
All right.
All right, let's move to financials, and Mike.
Okay, on page 3 of the warrants, down at the bottom, the only thing to really point out is High Plains Co-op, state aid flow through, $148,125. So the warrants for this month, $288,533.77.
And yes, board, we choose to make that payment to High Plains because we have honor. Because we have honor.
Then page 4, you notice we haven't gotten any title funds yet, but I think that's open for me to start getting that money this month, so I'll be pulling money in for that. And then page 5, our fund expense summary. We're still sitting about where we expect to be. And then page 6 is our transfers, and then after that's our high school, middle school reports. So if you have any questions.
I just have a request, Mike, just make every month like those expenses.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, you take out the High Plains assessment and the months was only 140.
Check it out.
Yeah, just take everybody else's.
Yeah.
All right, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the financials at $288,533.77.
So moved.
Second.
Ryan and Curtis. It's been moved and seconded to approve the financials. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, no public patron. Administrative reports, Dr. Meyer.
Yeah, I've got a couple, 4 things to discuss with you tonight or present to you. We are in the final year of our 4-year memorandum of agreement with the city of Holcomb with our school resource officer. If you'll recall, the first 2 years we paid for that, and then the last 2 years, the city has paid for that. Well, now it's done. So I asked Randy to come see me, chief of police, and we had a good meeting a week and a half ago. I'm very much interested in keeping the position. You never set a policy in place with a person's name or face in mind. So I'm very much interested in keeping the position in place, but this is a time where I'm also very interested in keeping Jason in that position. So if something were to happen with Jason, I'd still want to keep the position. But if he's interested in being here, I'd really embrace the idea that he'd come along and be with us. The beginning salvo of the negotiations on this is the city would like us to pick up $34,000 worth of the salary year one, and then, moving forward with baked in for not more than, or less, at least less than 4% raise every year. And then $11,000 one-time cost to buy a radio that works in the high school. Oddly enough, I don't know, it must be lined with lead or something. The high school drops off, it doesn't work with our current radio system. So that's the beginning of the negotiations. We've got a long way to go before we sleep. You're welcome, Mr. Peterson. So bring that one back out. Like I said, I'm very interested in that position and with Jason in it. So negotiations are meant to be, back and forth. So that's in the works, the SRO. Internal audit is afoot next week, McKinney and McKee. That's our internal auditor. If you'll recall, that's a statutorily required process that takes place. They'll come in for a week-long exam, if you will. They'll look at our business functions, and it's a week-long process. Mike, Robin, Krisha, Keisha, they all do a bang-up job. We do a nice job on this. But good fences make good neighbors, and so we want to make sure we never have exceptions. They do seem at times they're looking for something to pick the gnat stuff out of pepper, and they will find something here and there. But when you think of the literally thousands of pieces of data that they could look at, it's not unheard of for them to find something. But they do a fine job. In the 8 years I've been here, they've done a fine job. Sam, I asked the directors to produce for me, as this is related to our strategic plan work, but it's also just something we need to do anyway. Ask them for their rotation schedules, and so in meeting with Sam, we're very interested in us starting on the process of purchasing a new route bus. The law says the route buses, when they come off the line, not how many years they've been used, but from the time they take them off the line, they can only be in service for 25 years. It's not the case with over-the-road buses, interestingly. And so we have one getting ready to age out. Just in case you're curious, the cost of poker has gone up to $187,000 now to buy a 72-passenger bus. The last time we bought a bus 3 or 4 years ago was like $113,000. So this is all that was back in the day before anything else has happened. Pre-tariff, pre-whatever. So we're starting the process. I don't have this on the agenda tonight to do, but I'm just letting you know that it's a-coming.
January.
Yeah. We call it the Matt Jones Memorial Bus is what this will be called. You could be making that motion on the way out the door. Final thing to discuss with you, the track. If you've not been up to the track of late, get up there. The orange has been applied. It looks really, really good. It looks really cool. The orange, if you'll recall, those are the exchange lanes. The gray is coming this week, depending on if the dam don't break and the river don't rise, the gray should be applied, and the striping comes along fairly soon after that. The dead date on this, if you recall, is November 21st, my youngest son's birthday. I believe they'll meet the deadline. And so that is coming to a successful end. Mr. Jones, that's my report.
All right, thank you. All right, buildings and grounds. Transportation. Food services. Oh,
Sam, how old's like the rest of the fleet? Like, what's it look like in coming years? How many buses in which years?
We're trying to get on an every other year system where we buy a bus one year and next year we buy a car, because we're about
Okay.
where we got, like 15 of each.
And that's what I have on my desk, Curtis, is after this one, it's 3 years from now is when one is aging out. But the frustration on this, the last time we bought a bus, if you'll recall, it was a year and a half for them to deliver it to us. It was ridiculous. And that was before any issues were taking place. This, I don't know how it lined up with COVID. I don't recall.
They said yeah, it was the beginning of COVID. They said they've got,
It is a
all that
mess.
lined out now. It's a 6-month lead time.
Yeah.
Okay, food services, Monica.
Nothing further.
Technology? All right, let's move to the principals and Amy.
She gave you that look.
She did. It was the look of death.
Are you wanting me to wait on the PAT?
Yes, that is
Okay.
on the agenda.
Well, then I'll come up with something different.
Okay.
So last week was voting week, and at Wiley Elementary, we hold an election every year, and it's fun learning for the students, and they enjoy it every year. Our teachers really embrace it. They require the students to come down with their lunch IDs and show their ID to check in. They have a ballot and a voting box that's private. So the students kind of learn all about that, and preschool voted on goldfish or Teddy Grahams. Teddy Grahams won, I think. Yes. Kindergarten voted on their favorite cookie, Frosted Sugar Cookie won. First grade voted on Skittles or Starburst, and Skittles won. And second grade read the book Duck for President and voted on either Duck or Farmer Brown for president, or they taught their students about write-in votes, and so some of them wrote in their teachers, but they didn't win, so Farmer Brown won. So that was fun for our kids every year.
Thank you, Amy.
You got 9 votes.
Randy? Yeah.
I would just like to recognize and congratulate Debbie Tidwell for being a Crystal Apple finalist. The ceremony will be November 20th, and we're really excited that she has been recognized for her hard work. She does so much with introducing our kids to lots of different instruments. She incorporates a lot of movement into the things that she does. The day that they came in to let her know that she was a finalist, she had colored tape on the floor, and the kids were jumping through them, both going towards each other, but however she had taught them, they didn't run into each other, which was awesome. I think they were working on rhythm in some way. So she just does a lot of cool things with the kids, and it's awesome that she's going to be recognized for that. Also, I just would like to highlight that Amy and I were able to attend the KPA conference this past week, and while we got a lot of great information that I can tell you about, I do want you to know that we were able to meet the founder of Wichita, Jay Abla. And if you'd like to know more information about that, you can talk to Curtis or Amy.
The founder of Wichita. So this Jay guy
That's
is 100
what we
and-
heard.
Okay.
That's what we heard.
Is that a real name?
This guy was our Uber driver. And he told us this cockamamie story.
Including, he is the founder of Wichita. It was founded in, 1860 or something like that. Thank you, Randy. Thank you,
Thank you, Randy.
Randy.
All right, Dr. Helton. Abla, is that what she said? Sounds like something I used to call my dog.
Our community garage sale is this Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That is an example of our IPS at work. Mrs. Leonard is heading it up, but it's actually her class. She does hospitality and planning. So the kids have helped organize the event. They'll be there to help run it on Saturday. And they've put to mind some ideas of what they want to do with those proceeds. They've been looking at recess equipment. They want to plan a fun day for the spring. Of course, they have a plan A, B, and C based on how much they raise. The community really poured out a lot of stuff for us. It's awesome. I think there was over 200 just categories of things that Miss Leonard put together. It's a lot of stuff. It's going to fill up our cafeteria. So it's real exciting. So great job to the kids, and hope the community will come out and support the event on Saturday, 8 to 4. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Jerry Johnson.
November, I usually try to highlight our fall sports activities. Dr. Myers kind of stole some thunder there, giving congratulations to some of the different people. One thing that failed to mention is this is probably the first time I've been in Holcomb for about 20 years. First time that I can remember that we've had so many teams win league. Boys cross country were league champions. Volleyball girls were league champions and tournament champions. And then football was league champions too this year. So out of the 5 possible league champions that we could have, Holcomb won 3 of them. So that's a very successful fall activity, which means that we're rolling into winter now with come to the end. One of our favorite times, or one of my favorite times, is the play this coming Friday and Saturday. It's our kids do a great job. Mrs. Bowler does a really, really good job getting people involved into it. I think one of the leads this year is Mrs. Schreivogel. Layla is going to be one of the leads, along with Josh Crouch. And so I don't remember what the name of the play. The biggest question I always ask is it going to be funny or serious? And typically it's always funny, and they do such a really good job. And so this kind of marks the end. We always do that during fall buffer week. This is fall buffer week, which means that at the end of this week, winter sports practices start come next Monday. And so school is flying by. It feels like we just started, and now we are about 6 weeks away from Christmas break, if you can really think about that. So.
Thank you, Jerry, for reminding us that Christmas is upon us. All right. Let's move to unfinished business and A1, Parents as Teachers Blue Ribbon Certificate.
Alrighty, I am extremely proud of Carrie Van Pelt and Amy Albright and Dina Novak, her predecessor, for getting the PAT program going, and then just shepherding it through and just doing it. Our PAT program, it stands for Parents as Teachers. My youngest, once again he's 27, went through PAT. It's been around a long time, and the whole idea is to help people with kids. We talk about the womb to the tomb anymore, but prenatal through the age of 5. And there's just the work that Carrie does is just so important to set young parents up so as to set them up for the kids to come into school. And Annette and I are educated folk, and we tried to kill our 3 kids multiple times, not on purpose, just because we were ignorant. And then we finally, with a 3rd, went through PAT program and thought, oh, well, that would be, I wish we'd had that 10 years previous. Just a whole slew of different things that Carrie works with these young parents, not telling them how to parent, but just giving them good ideas on parenting. And then also setting up a quality relationship with the families and the school. So, Amy, I'll let you go from there. I want to steal your thunder, or her thunder.
Okay, so every 5 years, PAT has to go through a QEIP process that stands for Quality Endorsement and Improvement Process. Why don't you come up here too? And it's a lot of work. So it's essentially an 81 question thing, but it's not like 81 multiple choice questions. It's each question requires page after page after page after page of detail. We also had to create a handbook for our program because they just wouldn't accept like our regular school handbook as the PAT handbook. Lots of detail in there that doesn't necessarily work for our program because we are a one-man show, and it's ran a lot different than a lot of the PAT programs are, but we still had to say, what if? So literally this entire process has just been on, well, if we had a program that was not a one-man program, this is what we think we would do. Like lots of unnecessary things, but it was also a really good process for us to go through because her and I met a lot and talked about a lot of different things, and we did come up with some good ideas, and Carrie does an awesome job of running the program and always finding ways to help our families and how to get our young families involved within the school and the community. I'm just so proud of her because she's worked so hard. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this, and a lot of times where I've had to talk her off the ledge and promise her that everything was going to be okay and we would just turn it in and whatever happens, happens. And it wasn't going to be, a huge deal if we didn't get it because our program has never been blue ribboned. And we know that that's not going to be what makes our program great. At the end of the day, she's the one that makes our program great. And
Absolutely.
I'm so proud of her because we met at least 80%. You have to get at least 80% on this in order to be blue ribboned, and she did it. So I'm so proud. Do you want to say anything?
I just want to thank Dr. Myers and Amy because they were huge support. She did have to talk me off the ledge a lot. I
blood,
did cry a lot.
The
I
blood,
said,
sweat, and tears,
Uh-huh.
emphasis on tears.
Yes, definitely. But it was a learning curve, and I did learn some other things that we'd like to implement now and stuff. But I just want to thank everybody for supporting my program, and hopefully it continues.
Very exciting.
Thank you, Carrie, and continue on all that good work. Like I've told her before, she truly is doing God's work. Some of the stories of, and once again, Annette and I were, and we still are ignorant. People don't know what they don't know, and so we just help people. That's all.
So now that I'm an empty nester, should I get involved with the parents?
No, Matt Jones, you should not. Thank you, though. Yes.
It's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea.
All right, let's move to state assessment presentation.
All righty, each year, as you well know, we have the state assessments take place in the spring. And this is a piece of the balanced assessment program that we have in our district. We have a variety of different assessments to take place. And this is the one, it's a lagging indicator, and the principals, we'll start with Amy, because, it goes all the way up through, even though at Wiley, it's more of a practice test. But anyway, they will walk through some assessment data for you. We're not where we want to be. We're not there yet. But we are continuing our good efforts. A lot of good work is in place, and it's sticking. It's starting to come together. And I do expect that over the next few years, these lagging indicators will increase. But we do have some bright spots, and you'll see that, and I'm sure the principals will highlight for you areas of growth for you. So with that, Ms. Albrecht.
I'm up here a lot today.
Yes, you are.
It's special.
Good. Get used to this, aren't we?
Certificate.
No.
Blue ribbon.
Blue ribbon, yes.
I already got that.
We should order some.
It doesn't mean much if you give yourself a blue ribbon. From Buc-ee's.
I have a trailer.
That work?
Ice machine works. I think $30,000 ice machine.
Yeah, pretty much. It came with it.
Came with a wallpaper. No, it's not.
Might help if we put the Jeopardy music on.
I can give everybody a subject and they can talk amongst themselves.
break out the tray. Break out the old one. We had to put matchbooks and piece of paper.
Oh, yeah. Projector that caught on fire.
There we go. Look at that.
Oh, yay.
Hey.
Magic.
All right, we're back up.
Holcomb Elementary and Holcomb Middle School State Assessment Data Presentation. Sorry, Jerry, you have your own. Okay, so for Wiley, we don't have your typical state assessment, so I'm going to talk about some longitudinal fast bridge data. Amanda Ruckert, the reading guru years ago, she shared some of our reading longitudinal data with us this year because we saw some great growth over time, and sometimes it's hard to see when you just look at current year data that you're making progress because you still see such a low percentage sometimes, and you're like, gosh, I just don't feel like we're getting anywhere. But when you take a look at over time, sometimes you see that we're making some smaller gains. So this isn't actual growth over a course of period. This is just fall testing. So this is when we first get them at the beginning of the school year when they've had nothing. So when you look at kindergarten, you see that we are down 6% from 2021, but that is, they are literally coming to us. So we kind of have no control over how many actually attend preschool, how many attend preschool in Holcomb. You know, we don't really know where they're coming from when they come to us. So this number, when we are at 62% this year, that's great because they're just coming to us. This is their first school experience, and we are just starting the year without giving them any instruction. We are seeing 62% of them meeting that benchmark standard. So that's good news. In first grade is always a grade level that it's really hard to see your hard work put in place because our first grade numbers are always so much lower than any other grade level, especially when you look at it district-wide like we did when we were working with TASN. First grade was always one of the lowest grade levels, and it's because from when they leave kindergarten, knowing letters and sounds and barely reading a few words, to leaving first grade, they have to be reading a whole lot. And so the amount of growth that they need to make in one grade level is tremendous, and it's really hard, but we still see growth over there. So looking at growth data in first grade is good, but if you look at this, we have made 20% gains from when we were first starting in 2021 to now. So that number, 49%, may not look great, but again, they leave first grade or kindergarten and just have to know letters and sounds to reading sight words at the very beginning of first grade with no instruction. So that's still really good progress there. And in second grade, we are showing 18% gains from 2021 to now. So, and you see some dips in there too, but I feel like this is a direct correlation, especially in first and second grade, with our new curriculum and our new resources that we're using, because we're showing some tremendous gains there. This is our math longitudinal data, and we also have a new resource as of last year in math too. So again, kindergarten, we're down a little bit from 2021, but as you can see, we kind of, we hover in the low 70s, which isn't terrible, especially since this is our first schooling opportunity for some of them. First grade, we are up 5%, and second grade, we're up 4%. So, and if you look at that, like second grade from 2022, we're way up. So again, and the light purple at the top is college pathways. So we are seeing a bigger number in that area too. And this is, like I said, assessing on that grade level material before they're ever even taught that grade level material. So that's great. This is our second grade state assessment that we take. It's nothing like third grade assessment or anything that they take after they leave our building, but it is their first experience with the online state assessment portal and everything that goes with that. So the three areas that we assess in are, the blue is the foundational reading skills. The red is literary text comprehension, so comprehending what they read, and that's like in the fictional stories. And the yellowish is informational text comprehension, so the factual information that they read. The bottom number is the total number of questions possible. So in our foundational reading skills, we're sitting pretty good. We're almost at 17 out of 19 correct as an average for the grade level. So I'd say that's pretty good, which is the biggest chunk of our teaching in Wiley Elementary is our basic foundational phonics reading skills. Then we are sitting almost at 6% or 6 out of 8 on our literary text comprehension, and closer to a 5 out of 8 on that informational text comprehension. So those are definitely our areas of growth, is the comprehension. And it makes sense because we're still learning how to read at this grade level. So when you're still kind of having to sound out the words, you tend to forget what you've read when you're really focused on learning to read the words still. So one of our areas for improvement there. And then this slide just shows the change, because we also took this SATE assessment the previous year, so I wanted to kind of include some longitudinal data from that. So in our foundational reading skills, from the 2 years that we've taken it, we increased 1% in the foundational reading skills. We increased 6% in that text comprehension, and I do think that has a direct correlation with our CKLA curriculum that we're using, because every single day they're reading in their decodable reader and they're talking about what they're reading, and they're being held accountable for that and having to go back, and we're teaching them how to go back in the reading to find the answer. And so they're able to do that themselves, obviously, too, since we raised 6% there. And we did drop 1% in that informational text comprehension. And a lot of that could be because we just didn't have the background knowledge on what the text was about. That informational text is a little bit harder to comprehend, and it does tend to have some more complex wording with that too. But overall, pretty impressed with how our students did on that. That's all I have for Wiley.
Okay, at Holcomb Elementary, I chose to start off with our state assessments. The state assessments were just recently renormed. I think I said that correctly, right? Okay. So when you look at this is information that you can find at where you can find our report card information. But I did think that it was a great way to be able to look at the performance at our level. So one of the things that I noticed is that in renorming the test, you can see that our students, we had a decrease from 2024 to 2025 in our level 1 students, 10%, which is awesome. And if you look at the green and the blue, that increased. So those are our level 3s and our level 4s that increased from 2024 to 2025. Also on this, you can also compare how we did with the state down here, and you can see that we have fewer students in level 1. And if you go up here, you can see that we're pretty close to the state on our level 4s, and just a little bit under, and then we're a little bit ahead on our level 3s. So this is in ELA and would combine all 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Okay, you can see the same thing when you look at our math. Now when we look here at our math, it's not quite as big of a difference, but still decreasing our level 1s and increasing our level 4s. So that's pretty exciting. Our 3s and 4s increased here from last year. Also, if you take a look and compare, you can see we're below the state as far as our percent that are in level 1, and we're right there close with the state on levels 3 and 4. And our only grade level that does science is 5th grade. The biggest thing that you can see here is the decrease in level 1s, but we also did have a little decrease in our level 4s, but 3 and 4s total was greater. And the biggest thing I notice here is just we're a little behind in our level 4s in science. But as far as if we combine our 3 and 4s, we're real close there. So that would be our state assessment data. If we take a look at our FastBridge data, this is going to be similar to what Amy showed from Wiley. And I know these are kind of small, but you can see here in the beginning we have our Holcomb Elementary data, and I went back to pre-COVID in 2019. That's our first set of data here, and then I just picked 5 that I could, 3 in the middle, and then 2025. So you can see Holcomb Elementary as a whole has increased 19%. You can also see a decrease right here in this hot pink, which would be our high risk category. So that's pretty exciting. And this, sorry, I should have started by saying this is our RCBM, which is our reading fluency. Just how kind of smoothly they can read, how quickly they can decode those words and read them accurately. One of the most exciting pieces of data here is this 3rd grade class, and I believe this is our first class coming through that has had CKLA since kindergarten. I'm not exactly sure if that's correct. Is that correct? Okay. So this class has had CKLA since kindergarten, the same curriculum, and this big jump right here is really exciting to see. So from 2019 until this year, there's 30% increase. And you can also see the increases in 4th and 5th grade are significant as well. So that's very exciting. This would be our A reading. I just took a snapshot of one grade level, but I could have included all of them, but I used our Holcomb Elementary as a whole. Our A reading is just the total, it's using everything in reading. It includes reading comprehension, but you're also going to have to be able to decode the words in order to do that. So since 2019, we've had a 14% increase. And in 4th grade specifically, which is a grade that we typically just see some challenges with as they kind of shift from that learning to read to reading to learn, and focusing a lot more on comprehension and difficult comprehension tasks. You know, we have a little bit more of a challenge there. So, but 13% increase there, which is still very exciting. Happy about that. Our auto reading, this would be our vocabulary, and our decoding really focuses more on word knowledge. And so you can see a 19% increase here since the fall of 2019. And in 3rd grade specifically, 21%. Again, this is that class coming to us that has had CKLA since kindergarten. So really great increases there as well. And then the final one is our A math. This is just our overall math, and 8% increase 3 through 5, and 5th grade specifically has had a 13% increase since the fall of 2019. With our new iReady curriculum, I do hope that we will see even more significant gains in this area, just because of the things that this resource has us do as far as talking about our learning and using vocabulary and things like that. So I would agree with Amy. It is awesome to look at the data this way, because it can get very frustrating when you continue to look at data that makes us feel like what we're doing, we're not seeing the growth, even though we're doing the things that we've learned should make an impact. So when we're able to look at it this way, and we're able to look at it in the fall, how they're coming in, it just really speaks volumes to the hard work that the teachers have put in. And we should be really proud of the things that they're doing. Okay.
For HMS in general, the good news is level ones are down drastically, and we have more kids in levels 3 and 4 across the board. Now, contributing to that, the state, as she said, renormed it. They changed the cut scores. So you look at the bottom there. They used to range in the 200s. Now they're in the 500s. What does that mean? I don't know. But that's what they do now. So now it's in the 500s. So the positive is, yeah, level ones are way down. Level 3s, 4s, we have more representation. So that's a good thing. Where I'm still looking, though, one thing that I think can carry over is doing our, you'll see the minus numbers at the bottom, comparing us to the state average. Because, yes, our numbers were adjusted, but so was everyone else's. So I would hope we're gaining there to the state averages, which across the board, a pattern you're going to see with the cohorts, something we need to look further into. The regression starts in 4th and 5th grade. It bottoms out in 6th grade, and then we begin rebounding in 7th and 8th grade. Almost every cohort is that way. So there's an established pattern there. So this is the class of 29, currently freshman 8th grade class. They showed growth. Again, lowered level ones, got some doubled our number in level 3, which is above proficiency, and we closed the gap on the state average. 8th grade math has always been a strong suit for us. We're 10 points above the state average. They began that growth there again, though, you see from 6th grade to 7th grade last year, even before it got renormed, a 9-point gain. We matched the state average last year. They did as 7th graders, or 2 years ago, then continued that gain into 8th grade. Looking at, this would be this year's 8th graders. Again, that dip in late elementary bottoms out in 6th grade, but we made tremendous gains, went down 30 points in 1st grade and closed the gap on the state average, cut that deficit in half there in 7th grade. So around that 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, we've got work to figure out what's going on there. Math, 7th grade math, again, gained on the state average, or the state average there. And then they haven't had their chance, hopefully this upcoming spring, to show growth in this year's 7th graders. Again, continuing that trough that shows up in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. One thing we'll be doing differently, the state does offer interim assessments. The window for that opens in January after the Christmas break. Per our July training, being trained directly by the ELA director, if we take those interim assessments, we should have clear indication of what we can do between that window and March to know where we need to show where we can improve. Okay, so hopefully we get some data from that, looking at that with our BLT. But that's definitely an established pattern. We will work through with BLT to figure out some different factors to that. But that's a 3-year trough that has appeared over multiple cohorts. You have your own?
Can I just sit back here? Is that right?
You're the high school
Perfect.
principal, you do what you want.
Well, changes the whole meeting here. We can look through, and this is the state assessments results. Every year about this time, actually in about October, I get the smartest people in our building to put together our Results are, we had our FastBridge results, MTSS Math put those in this, and I can share this with you, but we won't go through that too. Just show you the state assessment results that we have. Our FastBridge is trending really well. Reading is trending very well. We're seeing really good stuff with the one-to-one interventions that we're doing, double blocking. Kids are testing out and getting out of that, and our increases in the FastBridge reading are taking place really well. This is the first year that we've done any kind of interventions for math, so that'll be something to be able to see afterwards. We leveled out classes this year, placed students in classes by a variety of different factors, a rubric, and what we're seeing from the math teachers and several of the students are saying they enjoy that better because it's teaching them at the level that they need to be taught. And really, it's the same standard that's being taught to the student. What the difference is, your more advanced kids is they can do more independent practice. The teacher can go over the standard and then get them going, where some of the towards the lower end is they do more we do. And that teaching strategy is they go through the problems over and over and over and over again with the students till the students feel comfortable enough to start the independent practice. State assessment results, I think it's always tough to get a clear picture of what state assessment results look like at the high school because you only take them your sophomore year. So you don't take any your freshman year. You come in your sophomore year, you take math and English, and then you don't take anything till your junior year, and you take science and social studies. So there's not like every year you take it to see the growth. And one thing that I think Mrs. Barrett pointed out when we looked at the FastBridge results, you can't compare FastBridge results from 8th grade year to sophomore year because that class changed 20%. When you look at the kids moving out and the kids moving in, when you only have a class of like 57, 60, if you move 5 kids, that changes, well, that's 15 to 20% of your class is changing. So your overall data then, is it reliable data if 20% of your students have changed from one year to the next? And so I think it's important to keep that in mind whenever you're looking at results with them. Our ELA CAP scores, if you take a look at, over here to the left-hand side, this is what the state averages are. And again, whenever you're looking at the state average and you get the mean score is derived from your lowest mark, from your highest mark, and everything in between. Well, when it's 60 kids compared to the state is, thousands of kids, 2 or 3 really low scores is going to move your mark one way or the other. Just like the other way is if you look at 2 or 3 really high scores will move your mark of 60 students one way or the other. When I've looked at these in the past and I saw, man, our average mean is way higher than what the state is, and then you go back, well, it's because 6 kids scored, you had a really good class of 6 kids scored really high, it moved your average mean way above, but if you actually look at your individual scores, you still had way more in 1s and 2s than what you did in the 3s and 4s. So I think one thing that's interesting to look is ELA, we've continued to drop the percentage in 1s and 2s. And like Tyler alluded, they renormed the scores. No longer does it say like college pathway and this on your performance level indicators. What they say now is if you get a 1, you're non-proficient. If you get a 2, you're developing. Anything at a 3 is proficient and a 4 is advanced. And so they've tailored the scores more to what, like almost standards-based grading language when you're taking a look at it. So obviously 1s and 2s, they're not meeting the standard at the level that needs to be. We need to get as many students as we can to level 3s and 4s on the state assessment. Now, taking a look at the state assessment, one thing that has helped too is the state of Kansas came out on their standards and showed us what a 1 looks like and a 2 looks like and a 3 looks like. They haven't ever done that before. And so beforehand, you were playing the game of here's what the test looks like, but you don't really know what a level 3 or 4 question looks like. Well, they're letting us know that now. So here is what's called AMOS report. AMOS is basically, it breaks down all of your data into 8 different categories. So you can see here it's like the low level 1 students. So basically anybody that's in a level 1, are they low level 1 or are they high level 1? You can see we have 0 students in low level 1, which means we don't have any of those really, really low scores. on this. And so you see high level 1, we had 15, which means those 15 students are within reaching distance of having a 2. Okay. Now, on the flip side of that, low level 2, we had 15 and low level 2, which means they're closer to 1 than the 3, right? And so then you see, I think this data right here is really impactful to be able to show you how close you are to the next level. Like how close is our 2 level students to a 3 and our 3 level students to a 4. So this is the AMOS report. And again, this is just a snapshot of what would be this year's junior class. Math scores are about the same. You take a look at, we have more students in level 1s and 2s than what we'd like. Same thing if you take a look at the state average, if you're comparing it against. Again, it's a snapshot of 60 kids for us, so we're down just a little bit compared to the state average, which, again, I don't put a whole lot of stock into that. The AMOS report, again, is what you're taking a look at here. Low level 1s, we have 0 students in low level 1s. We have 17 of our students in high level 1s. So we were really close. The bad part, though, is we had 18 of our students in low level 2s. So we're right there in that cusp of we are developing, which I would say with our math, that's probably where we're at. We focused on reading really heavily for the last 3 years about building-wide strategies and how to get better in reading and all that kind of different stuff. And math has just been one of those things that we're just now starting to go in that way. So, and then lo and behold, they don't have science scores this year. So we took the science test, but then they went in, they did the recut, and when you went on there to take a look, it said insufficient data in order to rescore the test. Basically means is nobody knows where all the data is at. They didn't send us any kind of data results to say how we did. One thing you're starting to see about one of the things I saw, and the reason that they had to rebrand this, is for so long they kept saying the state assessment scores were an indicator of how well you're going to do in high school or post-secondary. The problem that they ran into is the test, all these students were getting 1s and 2s, but post-secondary success rates were skyrocketing, meaning is their data didn't correlate with what they wanted to see. If you got a 1 or 2, your percent of being successful in college or having a job and being successful outside of that didn't have a good correlation to it. So they had to go back and redo their test scores because the kids that were scoring the 2s and 3s and the 1s, really the 1s and 2s, really that 2, they had a really high rate of success after high school. And it didn't average out to what the data on the state assessment were saying. So I don't know if you'll continue to see state assessment scores and like rebranding the name of it, because Kansas post-secondary success scores are really high. Meaning when kids graduate from high schools in Kansas, they're doing really well. They're having good jobs, they're staying in school, they're getting degrees, they're making an impact. And so sometimes when we look at the state assessment scores, they're kind of skewed. And also is you're taking a state assessment score, in my own plug, you're taking a state assessment score and you're trying to keep kids interested in taking a test that doesn't impact them anyway. So you're trying to bribe them to do their best. So.
Flush it.
Okay, that's kind of drinking from a fire hose, is it not? Lots of data points there. A couple takeaways. So what are the takeaways, Scott? Things are trending up. They are. They're not where we want them to be, and that will continually work toward that golden castle on the hill. Pedagogically, why are they getting better pedagogically? We've got better approaches of actual teaching going on due to the professional learning that's been taking place, and also the curricular programs and resources that we're utilizing. If you heard that come through a couple times with the different principals talking. One more thing I do want to highlight to you, it's obvious, your 4 leaders sitting around the table over there, they know their stuff. They will demur on this. They will say, oh, no, it's not. They are quality leaders who are doing the right things, working with their people. And their people are drinking from the cup. And they are we're all in the same canoe, going in the right direction. And that starts with the people sitting around that table. They know their stuff, they're excited about it, and they can speak intelligently about a variety, a plethora of pretty highbrow information, data stuff. And so you should be proud of your administrative team, your 4 principals. They do a bang-up job. We're not finished with where we are and what we're doing. We're going to keep at it. And so a year from now, I expect those numbers to be even greater, even better. So there you go, Mr. Jones.
All right. Let's move to High Plains Elkhart.
All right, you can't have a meeting without at least talking about some insanity. It continues. The leader, I'll call him a leader, at Elkhart continues not to want to make his payments. And now Pearson is involved as well. That's the overlord, the evil giant of educational software. They don't want to make the right payments. They've made partial payments, but nor do they want to adjust and allow the supervision of all this to go to High Plains. So I think this is double barrel shotgun headed toward a lawsuit. I think that's where this is headed. And there's been a variety of us saying, get there as soon as you can anyway. Get it going. Any which way you look at this, ultimately, like I was talking to Alexa, that's the chair of the CEO of High Plains, win or lose. Let's say the judge does not go along with the interpretation that students, because that's how the interlocal is written right now, that the word students is not exacting enough to include virtual students, but last I checked, virtual students are a subsection of students, so they should count, but okay. Let's say that whomever that judge is goes against that logic, and ostensibly High Plains loses, meaning, and a loss looks like they don't get the full payment. That's what that looks like, okay? Regardless, the interlocal is in the process of being rewritten. And so in the near future, I can't say tomorrow, the next day, or the next day, but within the next year or so, the interlocal will be all fresh and new. And it will flat out dictate all students, including virtual and brick and mortar students. I mean, so there'll be nothing left to interpretation. Will figure into the algorithm of the assessment. And there's just no way around it. At that point in time, KCA, that's the group, the school, for that Pearson operates for the virtual school for Elkhart. Can you follow the bouncing ball there? All these different entities will run. They'll run to the hills. When that occurs, Elkhart will be sitting there high and dry. And the sad part about this is they have propped up their Title I funds have gone up because that's based on poverty levels. And with 1,200 students in their virtual school, their low SES numbers, socioeconomic numbers, have gone up. So their Title I funds are almost $400,000, Mike, way more than ours. And their district far smaller than us in brick and mortar. So that'll go away. That'll all go away. And so will all the money that's being generated by the virtual school. The sad part about this is that superintendent will go. He'll be gone. I don't know where he'll go. Hopefully back to Oklahoma. And so rather than making a deal or doing the right thing, working things out, he's just going to pack up his bags and go bye-bye. Maybe they'll show him the door, I hope. But in the meantime, we're waiting. I'm waiting for KASB to get back with me because the lawyer who's representing High Plains has said that KASB has said they won't represent us if we choose to file a lawsuit against Elkhart because they have some work with Elkhart. So I want to know why. Because they're not representing Elkhart in the legal matter. They've got a group out of Dodge doing all this work, but they are doing some contractual work for Elkhart, at least KASB is. And so they must see that as mixing their peas and carrots, I guess, KASB is. So if that goes down that path, the decision we'll have to make is, do we retain different lawyer to actually file suit if we want to or not? Hopefully by that time, because nothing says we have to, by that time we'll know that a lawsuit is a winner or a loser on this. I do know, I can't speak for a single other superintendent officially, but I do believe of the 16 other districts, We are fully in the back, fully support Alexa and her efforts in trying to get High Plains, or no, I'm sorry, getting Elkhart USD 218 to just simply pay their bill. And so it's this most surreal thing with which I've dealt in the realm of school business since I've been doing this for 19 years. It's unreal. You just can't wake up on, I don't think a person should be able to wake up on a Tuesday and say, you know what, I'm not going to pay that. I just don't want to. And that's what's occurred. And so one more month of, I don't really have an answer for you, Mr. Jones, but hopefully next month this will all magically be solved.
January.
Come January, it's all going to be solved, I bet.
Yeah.
Can they not pay their bill?
I'm sorry?
I mean, are they in dire straits and can't pay their bill?
No, they have money sitting there. I mean, if nothing else, they've got almost $400,000 in Title I sitting there. I mean, no, I don't have their books, Ryan, but there's not a secret stash of special ed money sitting there because this is flow-through money from the state anyway. It's money the state sends to the district's supposed to send to the, why is it, I don't know why it's done that way. It's just done that way. So they're just choosing not to make that payment. I'm at a loss. I can't say anything professional, so I won't say anything.
Can't say anything nice, don't say
Yeah,
anything.
just don't say anything at all.
So my grandmother used to say. All right, let's move to donations.
Yeah, every month, it just amazes, well, not amaze me, I've been here a long time now. Our community, the greater educational community supports USD 363 and the stuff that we do. And so pretty much every month, we don't go out looking for things, but we have donations that come to us, and in order for these things to be utilized, it's the law, says the board has to take action on it. Well, this month, we have a $250 donation from Finney County 4-H for snacks at HES, and then also a variety of items donated from community members to be sold at the middle school garage sale Tyler mentioned and Dr. Helton mentioned, taking place this Saturday. So I recommend the board accept the donations as presented.
So moved. Second.
Ryan and Jill. It's been moved and seconded to accept the donations as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. 20 minutes?
20 minutes if we're telling jokes.
Just you?
Just me.
Okay. Let's go into executive session at 7:05. You want me to go crazy on you? 7:06. Okay, 7:07 for 20 minutes with Dr. Myers. Ryan and Casey moved and seconded to go into